Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Especially in these times after the issue of Sheikh Jarrah and the latest, I hate to use the word conflict because some people argue that it implies two equal parties, but the crisis in Gaza and the bombings that took place and so on, we've seen an explosion of demonstrations against Zionism in the world. And especially in the United States and England, we have noticed that leading many of these demonstrations, in the forefront of many of these demonstrations, are these beautiful Jewish brothers, joining hands with Muslims and Christians and people of other faiths and so on, marching for justice in Palestine. And I'm sure many of us have asked the question, who are these Jewish people? Who are these people who support this movement? When in fact, you see in the media that they try to paint a picture of a sort of united Jewish people against anybody who wants to stand up against Zionism. So we are here right now in the community, among the community of the Neturei Karta A, to talk with one of the most prominent activists in this community about the Neturei Karta A. Who are you? What are you doing? What are you different? What's the difference between you and the rest of the Jewish community or other members of the Jewish community? Are there other people like you, for example? And so we are here to talk to Rabbi Beck.
Elhanan Beck.
Rabbi
Elhanan Beck.
Elhanan Beck, who is one of the people who are always in the forefront of the struggle. Rabbi Beck, Shalom Aleichem and welcome to the program.
Aleichem Assalam.
And one of the first things I like to ask you, Rabbi, is about Neturei Karta A. Tell us more about Neturei Karta A. What makes you different? Are you, as some people say, a fringe group, an extremist group? You have all kinds of negative statements by members of some members of the Jewish community about your activities. So please give us a little story, a little tale about how Neturei Karta A came about and what you stand for.
Neturei Karta A is really not an organization like all organizations with members like this. Neturei Karta A is a name what people gave for the people what fighting active against the state of Israel. Neturei Karta A has been built on 1938 in Jerusalem by a few rabbis what they see how the Zionist people come in more and more before the creation of the state. They're coming in more and more in the Jewish life to bring in their ideas. So there was a few rabbis that are coming out to fight against them. I must say that it's not only these few rabbis of Neturei Karta A fighting against Zionism. Zionism is about 130 years old. The idea of Zionism, the actual state is 1948. It's 73 years, but the idea is starting 50 years earlier, and the idea of Zionism comes out by completely secular people like Theodor Herzl. He was completely a secular man. He even didn't make a circumcision for his son. He don't believe in God, he don't believe in nothing. We will come back later to this point. And in the beginning of Zionism, all the rabbis all over the world, they're coming out very strongly against the Zionist movement. the Zionists have more or less the influence only by the secular Jews. They didn't move so much in these years. But with the years, they got more and more and more. Communism took away many Jewish people from the religion, and then from communism is a jump to Zionism. Zionism really have only a place. It's built up on atheism. I will explain it later. I want to stick to the question what you're asking for. And then, with the years, a small amount, but some of religious rabbis, they stick up to this movement of Zionism, even though they didn't go Zionists, because they know that the idea of Zionist is against the principles of our religion, against the principle of our faith. However, they think they're able to stick up to this movement, that at least they can bring in some parts of the religion in this movement, so the movement will not be completely secular. And many people who are following this movement, they will get a bit more religious. This is a false calculation. However, but this was their calculation, what they're doing. So in Jerusalem, where they see what's happened with these people, that more and more people starting to follow the Zionist movement, they're organizing more rabbis to come out strongly against the Zionist movement. When I say to coming out against the Zionist movement, it's not like today to coming out on the streets. This is within the Jewish community. They try to influence people to show them how the Zionist movement is against the Torah and against the basic of the Jewish religion. Also, they're doing a bit outside, like the Rabbi of Jerusalem, the chief rabbi, Rabbi Chaim Sonnenfeld. He go to King Hussein, I think, and to a few leaders of the Arab world to declare they have no aspirations to take over the land. They say only the Zionists what they're doing that, but the religious people are against them. But mostly it was within the Jewish community. So people call themselves Neturei Karta. Why they call themselves Neturei Karta? Neturei Karta means the guardian on the city. As long as Zionism, the Zionist movement was more based on the Holy Land, so they call themselves, they are the guardians on the Holy Land, not to leave the atheists in the secular movements to come into the Holy Land. Neturei Karta. Karta means, it's an Aramaic word. Karta means a city, Neturei means the people, the guardians. So the guardians of the city. So people call them this name, and since then we are known on this name. Now, again, what you mentioned about some other Jewish people, what they are against us, or they say we are a fringe group or something like this. I want to make clear this point. Jewish people looks like me, yes? Almost of them are against the state of Israel. What better proof you need? Look, this area, Stanford Hill. There's thousands of Jewish families living here. Now, just go across the whole area here. You won't find one Israeli flag, even one. We have hundreds of institutes in colleges and everything. You won't find even one Israeli flag in the whole area. The whole area, I can say there is 95% what are opposing the state of Israel. Some of them strongly, some of them they're at least non-Zionist. Zionism in the state of Israel is not a part of their life. They're studying, they're praying, they're going to business, going to work, and doing an education of the children. They haven't got nothing to do with Israel. I'll give you another example. Let's take the calendar, the Jewish calendar. what is very widely here, yes, you won't see here nothing on the Israel Independence Day. Israel Independence Day, the Jewish calendar is here is it, here. And this year it comes out the 17th of April. Nothing is mentioned here about the state of Israel, its Independence Day, nothing. It's not exist at all. It's not a part of the life. But this, I can say, this is 95%. But the vast majority here in this area, it's totally against the state of Israel. Yes, I took you in our synagogue. This is a small synagogue. Yes, here we are praying 20 people, usually every day. But the people of Neturei Karta, even here, they are much large number. But people what they are against the state of Israel, you have it in the thousands, maybe in the tens of thousands. Or they are opposing the state of Israel. Now, you can see a stronger position from secular Jews to us, from Zionist Jews to us, but from Orthodox Jews, you can see very not often what they're coming out with opposition, but they are not oppose our ideas, because their own are against the state of Israel. If you see a position, you will see a position of some deeds, of some thing, of some ways how we take to bring out the message. But they think this is not the right way to do it. I give you an example. We're going out to demonstrations. Yes, together with the Muslim people, with Free Palestine, large demonstrations. With this point, not everybody agrees. Yes, I can say, let's say, the Satmar community. They are very strongly against the state of Israel. The same level than the Neturei Karta, they are against the state of Israel. However, how to fight Israel, they have a different way. They don't come out usually in demonstrations. They will make their own demonstrations. As you can see, look in their website, Satmar website, is TwoTorahJews.org. TwoTorahJews.org. Just check the website here, check by the videos. You will see demonstrations of tens of thousands of people that are coming out in the streets to opposing the state of Israel. They have the same signs what we have.
So would you say that the majority or all of the Hasidic Jews or Haredi Jews? Haredi Jews are opposed to the state of Israel? Would you say that?
I would say yes. Yes, what means the majority, yes. I want to...
Or opposed to Zionism?
Yes, I want to bring it out more clearly. What you're defining as a Jew at all? Yeah, we'll hear many people say that the majority of Jews are Zionist. Yes, I agree with it. Depends what you means, what you're counting as a Jew. Judaism is a religion. It's not a race. It's like, I think you're a Muslim. Yes, like Islam is a religion. It's not a race.
Right.
If somebody is a non-believer, yes, then he's not more a Muslim.
Right.
Even his father was
Muslim,
his mother was Muslim. He can be already 10 generations Muslims, but if he is not a non-believer, he's not a Muslim.
Right.
If somebody converting to Islam, even his father and his mother was atheists, then he's a full Muslim.
Right.
I'm not a Muslim, but I understand.
Yes.
The same thing is Judaism. Judaism is a religion. It's not a race. You can be a black, you can be a white, you can be a Chinese, you can be Japanese, you can be Italian, you can be everything. No difference. If you convert to Judaism, you are Jewish. If you go away from Judaism, you are not anymore count as a Jew.
Some people say that Judaism is like a tribe. The 12 tribes of Israel and people who descended from them and that type of thing.
Of course, we are the children of Abraham, Isaac, and in Jacob, and so on. Of course, it's going down from parents to children all the way. This is the normal way. But if somebody going away from Judaism, he don't believe in God, yes, then he's not counted anymore as a Jew. I mean, to know what it means a Jew, what not, it's not something what everybody can say. You have to look in our books what they say, what they're defining as a Jew and what not.
Right.
Now, of course, there is something what calls Yisrael af pishachata Yisrael. That means a Jew remains a Jew even we gone away from the religion. It just, what I said, it's the opposite what I said. It's not exactly. Because what that means they have still the obligation to keep the Jewish religion. You can't run away from that. You will come up in the next world. You will be judged. Why you gone away from the religion? You can't say, okay, I'm not anymore a Jew. If you're born by Jewish parents, mainly by Jewish mother, the religion going by the mother more than by the father. However, if you're born by Jewish mother, you are obligated to keep the religion. If you convert to Judaism, there is no way back how to go away. So this is one of the things why we haven't got a missionary system to bring in people to our religion, because we know that's no way back. Only people that are really, really interesting and very serious to convert, we take him. If not, we don't want to take people what in 2 weeks away and 2 years ago, in 2 years after that they will go away from the religion, because as soon as converting, he's obligated to keep as a Jew. That means even a Jew gone away from the religion is still obligated to keep the Jewish religion. He will be judged for that. But counting as a Jew is only somebody who believes. Now, when you look in the world how many Jews there are, I think 18 million, I'm not sure, about something like that. But we don't count them as a Jew. We count for Jew only somebody who's a believer, somebody who follows the religion.
Right.
Like you counting as a Muslim, only somebody who believes, not somebody would just say, I'm a Muslim and I don't believe in nothing. So, it's, I come back to the point, from the people, what are believers? People, and I can't say more, people looks like me, people what are really Orthodox Jews, not they call themselves Orthodox Jews, but they are really Orthodox Jews, they're really keeping the Torah. Yes, you will see many people looking like all the Gentiles and say, okay, I'm also Jewish, I keep Shabbos. Could be they keep some mitzvahs, some, I don't know, I can't. But however, I'm speaking in behalf of people that looks like me. Yes, of that I can give you the proof. Stamford Hill is full of this type of Jews. In Stamford Hill, you won't find even one Israeli flag.
Interesting.
People what they looks like me, more or less, 95% of them are non-Zionists. And the vast majority of them are strongly opposing Zionists. Not everybody agrees to what I'm doing, to the way how we bring out the way how we bring out our position to Zionism. But they're only not agreeing
with the method. They don't,
yes,
yeah,
but in the idea, they are
same.
the same.
No, I mean, we touched on a very interesting situation here in terms of, as you mentioned, what defines a Jew is your belief and your practice in the faith. You know, to what extent, how do you see, for example, what does it mean spiritually to be Jewish? You know, and in what sense, on a spiritual level, I mean, you can speak on a political level, right, but what on a spiritual level that you see Zionism going away from that?
Yes, you touch a very good point. This is really the basic. However, Judaism, what is Judaism? God take the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, take them to the Mount Sinai and gave them the Torah. Jewish people accept the Torah, accept to the 613 laws of the Torah. They will serve God, they will be closer to God than all the Gentiles. This means the chosen people. We are chosen by God to serve Him.
Okay, don't cut you, but you said 613 laws. 613 laws. Some people tend to think, for example, what Moses got from on the top of the mountain was 10 commandments. Or
Yes.
what's the difference between them?
When God take all the people to the Mount Sinai, he just say 10 commandments there. However, he gave 613 laws all of the Mount Sinai.
I see.
Not on this spot.
I see what you mean.
Not on this spot, but he gave all the 613 laws in this part of them, and there is really no difference between this 10 and another 603. But I come back to the point. This means a chosen people. Chosen people don't mean we are the king's mother and the slaves, like many people say. Chosen people means we are chosen to serve God closer, to give away our lives for God, the daily life, and to give away the whole life, and to give away, even to be killed if somebody forces us to go away from the Torah. We have to be killed to stay loyal to God. So this means really the chosen people, and not in any means chosen people don't mean this a race, because everybody can convert to become a Jewish. Even a Chinese can convert a Jew to the same Jew like me. So chosen people is not chosen race. Chosen people, what they choose to follow God on this way, to serve God. So many people asking that chosen people is a racist thing. It's completely not racist, because this is black, white, Japanese. Everybody can be from the chosen people, and everybody if goes away from the religion is not anymore from the chosen people. Right. So everybody can choose to be from the chosen people if he wants. However, so since we take the Torah on the Mount Sinai, Jewish people are serving God. This takes the main part of our lives. Of course, we're doing business and we're working and we have houses and we get married and we have children like everybody. But it's a big difference, because we believe in God, we believe in another world. The another world is the main thing what plays in our life. We give away very much things for we know that this is the will of God, this is not the will of God. We have to go away from things what God don't want. And the main thing for us is the other world. We know this world is only a preparation for the other world. I think the Muslim is similar, very similar to that.
Christianity as well.
Yes. I'm sorry, John didn't name other religions. But this is really what Judaism is. Of course, as you can understand, that the basic of a religion is believing in God. Believing in God means trusting God in everything, how He goes on with us. In the good times, even not in the good times. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing on the world that's not good. Everything is good. But for our eyes, it looks not good. Yes? But a believer in God knows that everything what's happened in the world, for individuals and for the whole world together, everything has been done by God. And we believe in God, and we're going after God with blind eyes. We're not questioning nothing. Even something looks bad in our eyes, we believe in God, we know that we don't know it. He knows better. Let's take, for example, the worst thing what I can mention in the Jewish history, maybe it was the Holocaust. Just for 80 years ago, 6 million Jews have been killed. Terrible, it's terrible. Yes, but we know that Hitler, of course, Hitler have his own, he can choose to be good or bad. Of course, he will get punished for his deeds. But the Holocaust was a decree of God. It was, if not Hitler, it was another one. You can see what just happened for 10 years ago, 15 years ago in Sri Lanka. How we call it? Can't remember. The water come in.
Or the tsunami.
The tsunami,
yes.
In 4 minutes, they killed, I think, 250,000 of people, yes. So everything is run by God. If not Hitler, there can be a tsunami, there can be many other ways. I mean, everything is from God, and it looks very bad. but we are believers. And we know that everything what God do is good. It looks bad. But when somebody goes into the hospital and the doctor told him I have to make operation, it will be very painful. Very painful. And you go into the hospital and make operation, it's most painful. After 2 months you're coming out, what are you doing? You say for the doctor, thank you, he pay money. Why? Because it's so much pain.
Right.
Because he believes in the doctor, he knows that if the doctor do that, this is the right thing, it's for his favor. Even if it's painful, it's for his favor. The same thing, we going after God with blind eyes. If God gives us the Holocaust, we accept it. We accept everything. We know the Holocaust was very, 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 very strong operation, very painful operation. But it was for our favor. How? Why? No. We can't understand. We have very small minds. We can't understand how a tree is working. We can't understand how everything on the wall, the sun, the moon, everything what's going on in the world, we don't understand. There's so many deep things in the world that we don't start to understand. God understands much better than us. The basic of a believer means go after God with blind eyes. In the good times, even if it looks for you not good. So this is what we're doing. Now, when God gave the Torah for the Jewish people, reading the word before, God promised the land for Abraham. If you look at the Torah, it's written in the Torah that God promised the land for Abraham and for his children. And in our belief, and it's written in the Torah, that he promised it for Isaac and for Jacob. You see it many times in the Torah. And I know the Zionists are using this very much to confuse people. Look, the promised land, away with the promised land. But the part what they're ignoring, what the Zionists are ignoring is, in the Torah it's written many times that the land was promised for Jewish people only under certain conditions. If you keep a high level of life. If not, it's written in the Torah many times.
High level of life meaning a spiritual life,
Yes,
or life in obedience to God and so on.
Yes. And if not, it's written in the Torah many times that they will be exiled of the land. I give you an example. I take out the book. Here, in Parshas Eikev, we say that in Hebrew. We say that every day, actually, 2 times a day. In the prayers, we say a few verses of the Torah. We say that here is written V'hoyim Shemoya. It's called Kriya Shema. What we say in V'hoyim Shemoya, they say Yishomru lochem pe yiftu levavchem v'satum avatem elim acherim shtachvisam lehem v'chora af Hashem bochem and so on. Avatem mehirom al haaretz atoy v'ash Hashem lo yitzil lochem. That means if you not keep the high level of life, you will be exiled from the land. 36 times it's written in the Torah.
36 times.
36 times it's written in the Torah. This thing that if we go away from the Torah, we will be exiled of the land. In the end of the day, if you look in the books of the prophets, especially Yirmiyahu, Ezekiel, Yeshayahu, it's full of that God sent the prophets to warn Jewish people. There was in the time of the first temple. Yirmiyahu was by the destruction of the first temple. And God warns Jewish people to come back to Him, to repent, and if not, we will be exiled. And that's what's happened in the end, as you can see in Yirmiyahu. It was by the destruction. The time of the Babylonians came in, and He warns the Jews, He warns again and again. And the Jews didn't repent, so God exiled us in the land. The same God what promised us the land, He took it away from us. We are in exile by divine decree. Going out of exile by force is a rebellion against the Almighty, as you can understand. I mean, if you have a child, he's bad, you told him, I punish you, stay in the corner for 10 minutes. And he coming out, what means that? Couldn't care less about you, punishment, I do whatever I want. And the same thing, if God sent us in exile, and we say, couldn't care less about the punishment, we take over the land when we want. This means a rebellion against the Almighty. So you can understand that the idea of Zionism, before you're speaking about Palestinians, even they're doing the country in a free country, let's say they find a free land and they're doing the land there. This is against the Almighty. This is a rebellion against the Almighty. If God sends us in exile, and you going out by force means couldn't care less about you. I do whatever I want. This now we can understand that the idea of Zionist, the basic idea of Zionist, is against the basic, even not the religion, the basic belief. It's the basic belief, basic belief of Judaism. So this answers the question: what is the religious grounds of the opposition against Zionism? Zionism is built up of mistrusting God. Theodor Herzl, the founder of Zionism, was an atheist. And all the founders of those atheist people, the religious rabbis, were the bolt on the idea of Zionism. They come after that. Yes, after that. They bolt on for their own interests. But the idea was built on atheist Jews. They don't believe that. They don't believe in God, don't believe in the Torah, they don't believe in the exile, that's a divine decree. They just say, we have a land, we was weak, we were exiled to the land, we have to organize ourselves. We have to organize like everybody. If you have many French people, if French doesn't exist, you have many French people, they will say, okay, we have to organize and build up French. The same thing, people that are empty from Judaism, they're empty from the religion, they're empty of godliness. So they see Jewish people are in exile. Why not organize yourself and build up a state? So you understand, Zionism has been built on atheism, on non-believing of God. And I must add that in reality, Zionists, they don't need a Holy Land. They don't believe in the Holy Land. They all don't believe in the Torah. They say the promised land, but they don't believe in the Torah. Who promised? If you don't believe in God, who promised that?
Exactly.
However, they're just taking out some verses of the Torah to try to confuse people, to bring in Jewish people into their agenda, and to confuse Gentiles. That look, we have the right on that, and they don't believe in that, they don't believe in the Torah. You know, take an example of Netanyahu today. He's not a religious person, he don't believe in God. He never keeps Shabbos. He eats pork. I mean, he's a non-believer at all. But he waving the promised land. What promised? Who promised that for you if you don't believe in God? However,
the British.
However, what I want to say, Zionism, the idea itself, they don't need a Holy Land. And really when they start the idea of Zionism, they want to take a piece of land in Uganda.
Yeah.
But
Uganda was a previous choice before Israel.
Yes.
Before Palestine. Yeah.
Yes. But they come up to this idea that if they will make a state of in Uganda, no Jew will look on the side, you know. Because Jews know we are in exile, we are connected to God. Of course, it's better to have a land, but we don't need to have a land. We can keep the religion, we can keep the Torah, everything can go on without a land at all. They know can bring in the Jewish people into their agenda, they have to confuse the people. So they will take the Holy Land. They will take the holy sites in the land. They will take the Western Wall. Some ideas like that. With these ideas, they're confusing people. Every Jew have very tight connections with the Holy Land. Yes, me myself, I feel very tight connection to the Holy Land. But it's a spiritual connection. This hasn't got to do nothing political. For us, it's no difference who runs the land. The Palestinians, the Turks, the British, no difference. Everybody, no. I had my connection to the Holy Land is spiritual type. I know if I was there, I can serve God better. By the Western Wall, I can serve God better. Yes, I will be closer to God. Yes, but it's a spiritual one. It's no difference who runs the government. But it's enough to confuse many people. They don't understand exactly. So they're confusing them. We're fighting for the Holy Land. We are fighting for the holy sites, and they don't realize what you're fighting for. You're fighting against God. You want to be close to God, and you're fighting against God.
How could you do that?
confusing people. That's exactly what the Zionists want. And because of that they make the state in the Holy Land. Even in Uganda, they haven't got to do with so many people that didn't have to fight. In the know that if they go to Palestine, they will have continuous fights. But they know if they will go to Uganda, no Jew will come there.
Right.
No Jew will come there. So they choose this way. So this is really why we are against Zionists. But I must say, this is even the Zionists do the land on a free land. When they're doing that in the head of other people, by taking away the land for the Palestinians, this doubles and triples the crime more and more. I mean, it's written in the Torah, you can see it here also, in Rabbi Elhanan, in the Ten Commandments. We spoke about the Ten Commandments. You can see it here. Lo yisirtzach, don't kill. Lo yisignoiv, don't steal. Don't steal. So this is two of the Ten Commandments.
Right. That you're breaking right now.
Yes. I mean, when they're going in on the head of other people, by taking away the land from them, by killing them, by robbing away the land from them, they're going, this doubles the crimes much more, they're going against the Ten Commandments. So this is really why we're coming out in the streets against, we have to rectify this, what has been done by our name, against God, against human beings. Against God means the rebellion against God, like I explained you, and against human beings, they kill them, they take away the land from them. You have to rectify this, you have to give it back.
There's something you said, you mentioned before, I've heard that you said only the Messiah is the one who could come and restore the land to the Jews. Okay? Could you explain that a little more for us? You know,
of course,
expand on that. Who is the Messiah? Is the Messiah only for Jews, for example? You know what I mean? What is the role of the Messiah in terms of in relationship to the last days? Things like that.
Look, the concept of Messiah is also something what the Zionists using to their agenda. The many Jews are confused and they think, okay, we are in the Messianic area, and Messianic era. We are in the Messianic times already, and the Zionists are Messiah to the earth, like the Messiah. And people get confused of that, many people. So we have to clarify that. What means Messiah? What is that Messiah? If you want to know what Messiah is, it's something that you have to look in the books of the prophets, what they describe Messiah. It's not something that everybody can say what he imagined he is. When you look in the books of the prophets, you will see Messiah means Messiah will be a prophet. He will bring down, when he coming, he will bring down much spiritual in the heart of people. Not only Jews, all the people. He will bring out spiritually in my heart, in your heart, in everybody. All of us will serve the same God together in harmony and peace. This is written many times in the book of the prophets, even between the animals there will be peace. Of course, between the people. When Messiah will come, we will not be on two sides of the fence. We will be on the same side of the fence. Both of us, all the people who believe in God, will together serve God in harmony and peace. In the capital will be in Jerusalem. All of us will serve the same God together in harmony and peace. This is Messiah will not be another Tayahu, but will take over land, killing and occupying territories. When Messiah will come, all of us will serve the same God together. I'll give you an example, one of the books. Yes? It's written here, chapter 97. It's starting. Hashem malach togei la'oretz. Yismechu iyim rabim. When God will be the king, when Messiah will come and God will be the king, the whole world will be happy. Everybody will be happy, not only Jews. Because everybody together, Messiah will bring the spiritual into the heart of people. He will take over the world, not with muscles, not
with a sword.
he will be such a big man. He will bring him so much spiritual in the heart of people. Everybody will follow him.
That's very interesting because while you're speaking, I mean, as a Muslim, you know, we have the belief in the Mahdi. I'm sure you might have heard of that. You know, of a great spiritual person who's a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, who will be coming and creating the same kind of universal peace and so on. And then you have also, in Hinduism, you have that type of a figure coming. In Buddhism, you have that type of a figure coming in at the end times, you know, when the world is very bad and all kinds of injustice and so forth are everywhere. Among the American Indians, too, you have this tradition. Do you think the Messiah can fall into that kind of a category as a cosmic category? You know, like it's one person, you know, but every group in the world will see that person, let's say from their perspective. What do you
I
think?
don't think so, no. Everybody will agree on the same way. Of course, I understand that the Muslims think that everybody will agree to Islam. And the Christian will think that everybody will agree to Christianity. Jews, people will understand that the Jewish way is the right way. But I think that everybody will agree. But will not be by force.
Right.
Everybody will, with his own eyes, with his own feeling, with his own heart, will feel to do the same thing together.
Right.
And there will no be wars at that time. But everybody will agree to the same way. Give a look. In the books of the prophets, Messiah is described as a poor man coming on a white donkey. We don't understand that there are no donkeys today, yes? We don't understand what that means. But I want just to bring it out how Messiah will look like. He will not look like a person with big muscles coming with a big army and they will take over the whole world. He will kill everybody who's not agreeing with him. This is not what the book of the prophets describing.
Right.
It's kind of a poor man coming on a donkey. Just the spiritual, what he will have, will spread out in the whole world. And everybody will agree to that. The same way to serve the same God. We believe that it will be the Jewish way. And I must say, this point really didn't bother the Muslims in all years. We live very good with the Muslims, even they know that we believe in our Messiah. If we believe that everybody will become Jewish, and they believe everybody will become Muslims, and they didn't make any fight, because they didn't vote by force. We say that you will agree to that. You say that I will agree to you. Okay, we will see. Let's come the time. But the moment when you come to force up on other people, this creates the problem.
Absolutely.
But the religion itself, even the Messianic belief, didn't create any problem. So again, when you want to know what Messiah is, you have to look at the books of the prophets. The books of the prophets, the description of Messiah, what I told you. So this is what we're waiting for. Of course, we believe that all of us will go up in the Holy Land, is will be the capital of the world, and all of us will serve the same God together.
Is this preceded, the coming of the Messiah, is the coming of the Messiah preceded by widespread injustice in the world? You know, like for example, in our traditions, you know, we say that the Mahdi will come when the world is full of injustice, you know, and there are all these signs that are saying, you know, men will look like women, and, you know, things like that, and you know, is this the same type of scenario?
It's written in our scriptures also the same thing. But before the coming of Messiah, it will be the world in a very bad situation. All the people will come out against God, as you can see today. They want to take over the whole education system. They try to bring into the children, don't believe in God, believe only what you see. This is one of the basic things that they want to bring in children. Seeing is believing. Completely against all the religion. Don't believe in another world, don't believe in God, don't believe in nothing. Just what you see. This is one of the main things that they bring. And again, you can see what Austin wants to bring in the world, in the education system about homosexual and something like that. Or they want to they say they want to fight it, but from the side they're giving the ideas into the children to be open-minded. And this you can see what the technology world brings in, the smartphones and something that what even they built up the world very much on technology, but from the other side, you know, when children take the smartphone in their hand, I mean, terrible, what's going on? And that's what they want. That's what they want. So today you can see not only in England, in the whole world, they try to bring it into the education system. Seeing is believing. Don't believe in nothing. Critical thinking, everything to question everything. Question God, question your religion. Don't look what your father said. Don't look what your father said already 10 generations. This is how the world will looks like before the Messiah comes.
It seems that your community makes sure that education of the children is a very important priority.
Yes.
A central priority.
Yeah, we're fighting very much with Ofsted.
Yes, I was just about to ask you that, you know, in terms of the RSE, Relationship and Sexual Education program that they want to put down on people. How have you been dealing with that?
Yes, we're fighting very strongly about it. You can see the reports, you can see it, it's open information. The reports on all the Haredi community, all the schools, very bad reports of Ofsted. One after one, we are failing. We can't agree with it.
Well, that's your pride.
Yes.
Because if you're failing according to their standards, it's okay.
Yes. We are not failing for the health and safety.
Yes.
We are failing only in this point.
In this area.
We don't want to teach the religion again, to teach the children against the religion.
Right. In other words, you don't want to teach them the false religion, because this is a false religion they have here. I see. So in your struggle as a religious community, you know, in the fact that, you know, you are willing to work with other people to fight against Zionism and so on, how is that translating into, for example, more interfaith collaboration? You know, for example, let's say RSE. You know, I know in the Muslim community there are people who are fighting against it too. You know, do you see the possibility or the opportunity to join forces, for example?
Yes, we've done that already. Yeah. Let's take example in Birmingham. If you remember 1 year ago, there was large demonstrations.
Right.
One of the speakers was a rabbi here from Stamford Hill, for the Muslims.
Okay.
He was one of the speakers.
Yes.
Of course, we have to do something to work together. Could we can come more.
Have Muslims also been allying with you in your struggle with Ofsted and so on, for example?
Really, I don't see it in the... I'm more in the struggle against Zionism. I'm helping. I spreading out books and leaflets about the education, but I'm not in the head of it. I see. So I don't know exactly what they're doing.
I see.
I'm helping the struggle, but I'm not in the. I'm more in the fight with Zionism. This is my department.
My second and last question would be this: compared to previous years, we have seen great, huge numbers of people coming out after this recent, terrorist attacks of the Zionist state on Gaza and this type of thing. How does it figure? How does it relate to the other times in the past where others were coming out? Do you see more people coming out? Is this a sign? Does it tell us anything about the progress of the anti-Zionist movement in the West, from your point of view?
I think it's to say if it's more or not more. I really can't say. I really can't say, but they get a bit more modern. I mean, let's say like the movement of BDS. It's a new movement, yes? Instead of going out in the streets, they're working on BDS, working on many other projects like this, to boycotting Israel or something like that. But this take place in this take over much the struggle on going out on the streets.
Right.
It's just moving. I think in social media, yes, you can see for 10 years ago, yes, all the demonstration was ignored by the media. Even today they're ignored.
Right.
I mean, even Jewish demonstrations also ignored. I remember in the USA, I was in Manhattan by the 2nd Street, by the Israeli embassy, there was a demonstration of 40,000 Jews. And the whole road was blocked. Nothing was mentioned in the media. Even the police, when they say that the road is blocked, they say that some roadworks there. They didn't want to mention there was a Jewish demonstration against the state of Israel. However, today, the social media took over, and all the demonstrations with Facebook and with other things, even Facebook today, they're also under Zionist influence. They block many Muslim sites. Everybody, what they describe anti-Zionism, they're blocking. Even our own Facebook, they blocked it just 5 weeks ago. They blocked our Facebook. So in this type, it's of course they make much more progress. In the streets, I can say there is more than 10 years ago, than 20 years ago. I mean, I remember all times, was tens of thousands of people in the streets against the Zionists. But on the social media, like Facebook and other things like that, YouTube and all like this, BDS, something that are coming out very much more powerful.
Yeah, my last question would be...
Yes. I have to add after your questions.
Yes. Huh?
I have to add a few things.
Sure. It would be, what do you suggest that could be done to make the anti-Zionist movement more effective?
It's hard to say because I'm not in the political world. What I can say that our contribution to that, Zionism is built up on a point that there is anti-Semitism of the world. The Muslims want to kill all the Jews. They want to throw all the Jews into the sea. And this propaganda what they're making, this justify themselves. The Jews need to have a safe haven. They need to save Jews, to give them a safe haven. They need Jewish people need a safe haven where to live. This give them the justification in the world why they are justified to have the land. This is not right, because even you need our own state and you need to save Jewish people, why do you take over someone else's land? Take some free land, I don't know, go to the UN, they give you something, I don't know, but don't take over a land from someone else. They didn't, it's not really justified. It's not really a justification for that. However, but at least they have something, they say something. So, this gives for the Zionists at least some justification why to take over the land. It's not a justification really, but at least they have to say something. They said something. This is why the US and the UK and some other lands, where they're helping them after the Holocaust. Look what's happened with the Jewish people. We have to help them. Is now, just look the two facts. The state of Israel, in today's day, the state of Israel is the most dangerous place for Jewish people, not to speak for Palestinians. The most dangerous place for Jewish people today in the world is in the state of Israel. They say they want to make a safe haven for Jewish people. Just look at the two facts. We live here, we have no problem. We live in the USA. We live even in the Muslim countries, like Tunis, Iran, Algeria, Morocco, Yemen. Jewish people live there, they have no problem. The problem The only place where a Jewish life, the end of the day, a Jewish life is in danger on daily basis is the state of Israel. Every day another killing, another bombing. So this is so-called safe haven, what the Zionists try to say. But again, I come back to the point what we say that Zionism is built up to bring out that the Muslims have ever be anti-Semites. All the time they want to kill Jews and they want to throw all the Jews into the sea. And this justifies them to have their land. When we coming together and we show, we can see together. We have no problem. The problem is not the religion. In reality, everybody knows history. Knows we have a golden time in the Muslim countries. For centuries we live together. We have no problem with each other. The problem is not the religion. The problem is the occupation. People are just confused. They don't want to realize that. The problem is not the religion. Just take example. What's happened until the state of Israel? My mother, I told you, I didn't tell you, I'm sorry. I am born in Palestine. I'm already 7 generations in Palestine. We're going out from Israel about 1970. 1970, yes. We're going out of, and not only us, tens of thousands of Jewish families has gone out, didn't want to leave under the Israeli regime. And my mother told me, she remembered we used to live in the Palestinian neighbors, such a good relationship. We used to babysit each other, the children. But the Jewish holidays, they bring over the children to the Muslim neighbors when they go to the synagogue to pray. But the Muslim holidays, they bring over the children to the Jewish neighbors. There's no problem with the Jews and Muslims. We have a much better life than the rest of the world. This completely false Zionist propaganda, and even today, after 73 years of occupation, 73 years of killing, still both parties, Fatah and Hamas, declaring very clearly they have no problem with Jews living in the Holy Land when they will have the land. I hope so. Soon nowadays they will take over the land. They have no problem with Jews. They have a problem with occupiers. If Jewish people live there as loyal citizens with no aspirations of take over the land, they have no problem with that. After 73 years of occupation and so many killings, they still say that very clearly. We have nothing against Jews. Just give a look in Iran, the president of Iran and the Khomeini, it goes, the Khomeini of Iran, and he said,
Khomeini. Imam Khomeini, which one? Khomeini, the first one. The head of the revolution, yes.
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't remember the name exactly at the moment. But he said it very clearly, we have no problem with Jews. We have a problem with occupiers, with occupation. Let's take, for example, Sheikh Qadawi. From Qatar he is, I don't remember. One of the big famous, he also said the same thing. We haven't got any problem with Jews. We have a golden history with them. We live with them for centuries. And there was in all the Muslim countries big ministers in the government. The problem is not Judaism. The problem is not the religion. The problem is the occupation. So when we come out and we're speaking in mosques, we're speaking in Muslim gatherings, we coming to Muslim demonstrations, and people see Jews and Muslims can speak together. They have no problem. We cut the Zionists by the roots. This is at least our contribution, what we do to bring Zionism to an end.
So your presence there has a strong political effect.
Yes.
Yes.
And I must say, it's not only political. As long as the state of Israel is a rebellion against the Almighty, as I explained you before, is to take the situation in our own hands. We don't believe that somebody runs the world. We have to do it ourselves. A rebellion against the Almighty can be succeed. Take out the 5 books, Numbers. This is the 4th book in 5 books. Numbers 41. Chapter 41. sorry. Chapter 14, verse 41. Here is it. Chapter 14, verse 41. Vayoyma Moshe, lo Moshe atum oivrim espi Hashem v'ila sitzlach. Moses, Prophet Moses said, why do you go against God? You will not succeed. Even Ezra say, one that explains the Torah, that every rebellion against Almighty will not succeed. The state of Israel is a rebellion against Almighty. There are already 73 years. But they will come to an end, 100%. We hope and pray for a peaceful end. Nobody looks for bloodshed. And it can happen. I mean, when you think, oh, this will cost hundreds of thousands of lives. It shouldn't be. Take example, the USSR disappeared. Everybody, you remember the USSR? There was such a big world power. When you think this will disappear, oh, this will cost millions. And look, it didn't cost even one life. Right. Just crumbled. This is what God's doing, how He runs the world. Take another example, South Africa. I don't know if you remember these times of South Africa, the apartheid state. Also, people think they will cost. It cost hundreds of thousands. It cost lives, but much, much less than people think. So, the state of Israel is a rebellion against Almighty. It will come to an end. We don't support a two-state at all. Because I explain you, in our religion, we believe we are in exile. We are not. We don't have the right even to rule 1 inch of land. The whole land should go back for the Palestinians, from the river to the sea, in full. Completely should go back for the Palestinians. We have to rectify the wrongness what have been done for them. We have to give them back the land, their properties, everything they have to give back for the Palestinian people. And it will not be succeeding. Give a look. The state of Israel is already 73 years. Yes, how many countries has been built in these 72 years? Many countries. Everybody have peace. In the state of Israel, not even one day of peace. Every day another killing. Killing there and a killing here and here. Always fights. No. It's the finger of God to show you will never have peace until you come to the full dismantlement. In our opposite, you'll be a peaceful dismantlement.
I really appreciate our talking here, Dr.
I want to bring out.
Yes, go ahead.
I want to bring out another point that I didn't asking. People asking many times, what is the Jewish belief about the Temple Mount? You will take it over. What is your belief? You will take over the Temple Mount. We Muslim believe it's still standing for us, and you believe it's standing for you. What's going on? What's going to be? It's about the same thing what people asking about Messiah. And the answer is also the same thing. When you're speaking about the Temple Mount, and what I believe in the Temple Mount, you have to look again in the books of the prophets, how they describe it. We have the Temple Mount already 2 times. One it's, we got in exile by the Babylonians, and then by the Romans. And God promised to bring it back. But how it will look for it, God will bring it back. When Messiah will arrive, like I told you, all the people, they will bring in spiritual in the heart of all the people. All the people will serve the same God in harmony and peace together. And all the people on the world will serve God as Temple Mount. The Temple Mount will come down from the heaven, from fire. You look in the prayer book, what we have. Oh, we have too many books here. In the prayer book, we have a prayer, it calls Nachem. There in the prayer it's written, Ki ato Hashem bo'esh yitzato, in bo'esh ato osid liv noisa. Ka'amu v'ne'er lanu Hashem choymas eish saviv. God say, I took it away with fire, and I will bring it back with fire. It will come down from heaven. A full builded mount. Not human beings will build it. It will come down a temple from heaven with fire. how this works. We don't know, we don't understand that. I mean, what means that the Temple Mount, what means that the Holy House there, what means that, I mean, and this is from fire, people cannot go in and fire. We don't understand. But it will be something spiritual, and everybody will agree to that, what will happen then at that time. This is what our believing is. We have to understand the concept of Messiah in the Temple Mount, what the Zionists waving with the Temple Mount and the Messiah, they're waving with that all the time to say that we are the Messiah, we give you the Temple Mount or something like that. Messiah will be not another person of Zionists, they will be the extremes opposites what can be with Zionism. Zionism, Messiah will, what Messiah will do? What Messiah will do? Messiah will bring all the people to God, to serve God, to believe in God, all the people on the world. Let's say when King David, or King Solomon built the Temple Mount, what he has been done. He brings the Jewish people together to serve God, to be close to God, to serve better God. This is what Messiah will do, but Messiah will do the job with the whole world, not only with the Jewish people. He will bring people closer to God. Temple Mount is a place where you are close to God, you can pray better, you feel close to God, you're more connected to God. What Zionism do? Zionism take away people from God. They don't believe us. They say for other people, don't be a believer, just organize yourself. Take the land over with the power, with the hand power. It's exactly the opposite what the concept of Messiah is. Messiah is save God, believe in God, come together, be connected to God. Zionism will take away people from God. Nothing could be more far than these two opposites. You understand? But for confusing people, this is enough. They're confusing people exactly with the completely everything. You understand? So I will take an example. If French will take over England, they're making a war and they're taking that over. But I know they have a bigger position here in England, and they have a big opposition. They didn't want that. They want everybody agrees. So they're taking the French flag, and at the corner they will put in the English flag. They put in the English flag in the corner, and they will leave the Buckingham Palace. They will leave that, and even the march, changing of the guards. They will leave the whole propaganda with the whole. They leave, and people, but they don't think deeply, they will confuse. Oh, look, they have a small English flag. Oh, I will go together with them. You understand?
Yes.
But when you look deeply, they want exactly the opposite. They want to take over the land. Yeah, the same thing. The Zionists fighting against God, but they're taking some Jewish concept into the agenda to confuse people.
I see.
So again, for the last word, before the last word I want to say, I told you about the aid what the US and the UK gives to Israel.
Yes.
We know they want to help Jews against anti-Semitism. They want to help Jews because of that they're doing that. But they have a big mistake. Helping the state of Israel is not helping Jews at all. They don't help Jews at all. The state of Israel don't help Jews. It's not a safe haven for Jews. It's the most dangerous place for Jews. And not only that. State of Israel raising anti-Semitism all over the world. Since the Second World War, anti-Semitism goes out of fashion. If some politicians say even one word, it looks like anti-Semitism, or you have to apologize, like what they do with Jamie Corbyn. I know Jamie Corbyn very well. He's not anti-Semite at all. We're working with him for years. He's not anti-Semite at all. He's anti-Zionist, anti-occupation. He haven't got no problem with Jews. But they label them anti-Semitism. It must go away from the party, yes, everything like this. Anti-Semitism goes out of fashion. Who raising hatred for Jews today.
Mhm.
This is the state of
Zionism,
Israel.
yeah.
They're burning the fire of hatred of Jews in the whole Muslim world today. They're making the anti-Semitism on the
Yeah.
world. Helping the state of Israel is not at all a help for the Jewish people.
Mhm.
I understand that the USA want to help Jewish people. If you want to help, please take 10% of the money what you pump in Israel, and pump in 10% of that, and dismantle the state on a peaceful way. It's a much bigger help for the Jewish people.
I hear you.
We have to stay in exile, loyal to the countries where we live, including Palestine. We have to be loyal for the Palestinian government, but they will be there, inshallah. And we have to stay loyal for all the governments until the Messiah comes. When the Messiah will come, the whole world together will serve the same God in peace and in harmony.
Inshallah. Wallahi,
I hope so it will be of a peaceful way and soon in our days.
Inshallah, I hope so too. To enlighten us as to the deep spiritual roots of their anti-Zionist efforts and their collaboration with Muslims, especially with other peoples in the world, to destroy Zionism and pave the path for a peaceful world. I want to thank you all for joining us, and hopefully we look forward to coming to visit you again.
Thank you.
Definitely, this is not going to be the first time. Yes, inshallah. So thank you all for joining us, and hopefully we will see you all again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa shalom alaikum.
Thank you.